tilt your camera down a little bit because this, if you can. Is it a laptop? Is it a laptop?
Yeah, it's a it's a yeah, it's like it's my work one. It's a I might put some paper underneath it maybe.
Oh, no, I was just saying because it was more of the ceiling. I was just saying if you could tilt it down a little bit, then yeah, this is.
Is it a bit better? We can put it higher.
Perfect. This is good. This is good.
I reckon I'm higher than the actual thing. That's why.
This is perfect. This is good. Yeah. Okay, so we go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. G'day folks, and welcome to another episode of Cricketing Journeys, and my name is Sharan Swaminathan. I have with me Clive Rose, who has represented Australia in an under-19 for World Cup, and he currently plays first class for Tasmania and represents the Hobart Hurricanes in the Big Bash League. Prior to that, he's also played first class cricket for Victoria and has represented the Melbourne Stars from a BBL perspective. Now, that's everything that's available online. Let's talk about something that not a lot of people know. Clive has represented Victoria from an indoor cricketing standpoint and has played several nationals. And he's also one of the nicest guys you will ever come across on a cricket field. Clive, welcome to Cricketing Journeys.
Thanks, Shaz. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure, Clive. Clive, before we start off with anything, I have to ask. So you bowl left-arm spin, and you took an absolute screamer of a catch of Moses Ondreeks in 2016 in the BBL, and this is going towards the opposite direction on the right-hand side, and you did the exact same against Sam Whiteman against the Perth Scorchers. Now, my question is, you bowl left-handed, take absolute screamers with your right. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
It's a little bit weird, actually. You know, I bowl left-handed. I do everything at left-handed, but you know, I bat right-handed. And if I'm going to underarm something, I underarm with my right hand. And if I'm going to catch something, I want to catch it with my right. So it's a little bit weird. I prefer to catch things on my right-hand side. So I'm not sure if I'm left-handed or right-handed.
Yeah, I was actually going to touch on that. You know, you bowl left-handed, you bat right-handed. Now, growing up, that must have been a very unique proposition in itself and attracted a lot of the teams. And did you feel special growing up?
Not really. I never really thought about it, to be completely honest with you. You know, left arm, I would bowl a little bit of left arm seam and then batted right. I was actually more a batter. So, yeah, I didn't really think about it that way. And I didn't really think that was going to help me, you know, going forward.
And Clive, a lot of people look at you on TV and they're like, "Geez, man, that guy looks desi. He looks like like someone from the subcontinent." So I have to sort of, yeah, it'll be nice for you to sort of give some clarity over there, which is, so your parents are from Pakistan and they moved to Australia in 1982. And you and your sisters were born in Australia as well. So growing up, I hear that you were a big pest to your grandmother in her place, and you absolutely tore the house down.
Yeah, like I think there was, I don't even know how they sold the house back then, but there was many dents on the wall. My grandma used to sit there and watch Days of Our Lives on TV during the day, and I used to ball this tennis ball across the TV all the time, and she'd never stop me, never get angry at me or making a noise or anything like that. She just let me play, and I'd just bowl for hours and hours into the wall by myself and hit balls down the living room corridor and stuff. So yeah, I was a bit of a pest.
Yeah, but you were born and raised in Australia, and growing up, if there was cricket on television in Australia and Pakistan were playing and so on, was there any way you would sort of go in terms of support?
Yeah, I was always going for Australia.
Okay.
Most of the rest of my family were going for, for Pakistan when they played. But then whenever Australia played someone else, they were always going for Australia as well. So it made it for an interesting time when Pakistan were playing Australia. And Australia
and
always used to win, so I was always happy.
and were you following the 1992 World Cup when Pakistan did so well at that point?
I was very young. I'm pretty sure my dad and some of the family and stuff were actually at the game. They went to the game, and that World Cup final, I think it was in '92. I would have been 2 or 3 years old at that stage, so I don't really remember it.
Too much. Yeah. Okay. And Clive, you've actually gone on in previous interviews, socially, you've basically said that you hated school, but you were a very well-mannered kid, and you never used to do your homework. So now, like help me, and now really help me with this. So, there are the bad kids who don't do their homework, and there are the good kids who end up first in class. You were the good kid that did not like studies and did not do their homework. What's going on there?
Yeah, I think like I just remember seeing I was reading some of my report cards a couple of years ago when I saw him at home. I was cleaning up, and yeah, it was always that Clive was a well mannered and a delight to have in the class. But he needs to apply himself a bit more to his schoolwork. I was always thinking about being outside and playing cricket. So yeah,
Yeah.
never really enjoyed doing any homework and stuff. I had to do it when I was a bit older, and I got a little bit better at it, but I was never any good at it, and just scraped through year 12 and stuff when I had to finish it.
But you did mention cricket was your release from school. So you used to say that, although I used to be in school and I used to be the quiet kid, but the way you would express yourself and sort of feel at ease was when you started playing, went outdoors and played cricket.
Yeah, I look back on that time now, and I think I got really stressed out by stuff that was really hard at school, and then I ended up not doing it because of it, which is probably why I never did my homework, because I found it tough. And that was my release. Cricket was my release. So when I went there, I was the happiest, and I was the most stress free, I guess, and that's probably why I enjoyed it so much when I was younger.
Yep. Um, and not a lot of people actually know. And look, I keep saying this because a lot of spinners that have come on the previous episodes here, they've started off as a fast bowler, and you started off as a left-arm pace bowler, and then you converted to becoming a left-arm spinner at the age of 14, 15. And funny enough, you actually made it into the Victoria under-15 schoolboys team as a left-arm spinner. So yeah, talk us through that moment of transition. And yeah, it was quite a lucky break as well for you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very lucky from how it all happened. And I was bowling. I bowled a little bit of pace, left arm pace, really slow, and just put it on the spot. And never really got many wickets. But I was more of a batter, and I played senior cricket for my club. And I think I was playing third grade, my second or third grade game, and my dad was the captain of first grade at the time, and they needed a spinner in their team, so they were like, "Oh," he just sort of suggested that I can bowl some spin. I've been experimenting a little bit at training and stuff. So I wasn't getting a bowl in third grade, so they gave me a bowl and spin, and I think I took 6 wickets for about 120 runs off 15 overs or something like that. It was, most of them were caught in the boundary. But I took a few wickets, and I was like, this is easy. I'm going to keep doing this. So, you know, I started bowling spin ever since then, and then got an opportunity to play some rep stuff as well for my association when I was in my age group. I think it was under 15s. And that's when, you know, I think the state coach, under 15 state coach, was coming to pick up his son that I was playing against. And I bowled, I think I took 4 wickets in an over. And he just invited me to the training, the last 22, I think they were picking, and invited me to the last session. And yeah, he picked me in that. He liked what he saw, I guess, and picked me in that. And ever since then, it was, you know, I've been in the spotlight a little bit in terms of, you know, getting asked to go to these trials for the state teams.
But you know, you mentioned about, you know, I used to be the pace bowler that kept putting it on the spot. But if I look at now your underage, you know, cricket, you were the guy who was the consistent left armer that, you know, was putting it on the spot as well. So you know, maybe that fast bowling sort of just replicated with your left arm spin as well. But you know, the funny thing is, you used to always go into all your games, underage games, bowl your 10 overs, pick up your 2-3 wickets. But you always considered in your head, even though you batted at number 10, 11, 9, that you're more of a batsman than a bowler.
Yeah, I always rated myself at the bat when I was younger. I always wanted to be a batter. And I think as a spinner, a left-arm spinner, you sort of, in those days, it was like, oh, you're a fast bowler and you're a spinner, then you bat, you know, you bat down the order sort of thing. And I wasn't very strong either, to be fair. So, you know, I could bat, had a good technique, but just couldn't hit the boundaries and stuff. So that's probably why I batted a bit lower as well. But I did always consider myself more of a batter than a bowler, going through the junior stuff until I was about, you know, 18 and 19, when I felt like I probably should focus a bit more on my spin.
Yeah. And probably the biggest break, I would imagine, came through when you got picked into the under-19 World Cup squad for Australia. And I just want to give folks a bit of a breakdown on the guys you actually played with. So Clive was picked in a team with Steve Smith, Phil Hughes, the late Phil Hughes, James Faulkner, Marcus Stoinis, James Patterson, Josh Hazelwood. Now, this was a squad. I just want to make this very clear. This was a squad where Glenn Maxwell and Mitch Starc actually didn't get picked as well. So first thing, Clive, is what was that feeling of getting picked into an Australian World Cup squad, and with the likes of these superstars around you? And did you think they would go on to bigger and better things?
Look, I think at the time I didn't really think about it that much, to be fair. I was just overawed with actually getting picked in the Australian team. Only when I actually went away to the World Cup with these guys, I was like, damn, I'm playing with, you know, Phil Hughes, who was already playing first-class cricket at the time. You know, James Pattinson, who had already played a few first-class games. Steve Smith, who had been playing a couple of first-class games already as well. So I'd been playing, these guys have already played first-class cricket. And I was just like, wow, that's actually, I feel like I'm not that far away. And it sort of gave me that realization that I could do this. I can actually play. I can make a living out of it, I guess, like these guys have been.
Yep. And was that the moment you thought to yourself that, you know what, I have an opportunity to represent Australia? And was that your aspiration? Was it that moment of playing the Under-19 World Cup that you thought to yourself, this is the higher honors that I want to go for?
Yeah, I never really thought about playing for Australia. It was always like I wanted to play for Victoria. I wanted to play state cricket. I wanted to play on the MCG. And I remember saying to myself when I was younger, I just want to play one-day game. One-day game at the MCG. And that's fine. I'm done then. I'm happy never to get picked again. I just want to play one game. And, you know, I think I'm really grateful for the opportunity and the career I've had so far.
Yep. And during that Under-19 World Cup as well, so you missed out on the first game. So we'll get to how you went personally. But Australia went down in the quarters to Pakistan. And, you know, you were playing that World Cup in Malaysia, you know, subcontinent. And I'm assuming that's probably one of the first times as a group you were going to another part of the world and experiencing something new. So talk us through, what was that experience for you personally? And as a team, what were some of the learnings that you got out of it?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough a few months before that, we got picked in an under-18 Australian team to go to Malaysia and Pakistan. And we played a few practice games there, and we got an opportunity to play on some turning wickets. And very early on, we worked out that, you know, spin was going to be a tough thing to score against over there, and it was going to be really good to bowl spin there. So I think the learnings that came out of that, and I think nowadays they're a lot more, the Australian cricket, for example, are more attuned to what what the under-19 kids need when they're going away to these things, and they're putting a lot more emphasis on play of spin and how to play spin on those subcontinent wickets. Whereas back then, like we had one week training session before going to the World Cup. And we played against New Zealand at the AB Field, and we smacked it. I think we won both those games against New Zealand, so we thought we were going really well. And then when we went to the World Cup, we didn't beat a test playing nation. We lost to Sri Lanka, we lost to West Indies in the practice games. We were probably going to lose to England when we played against England. We got washed out. Bangladesh as well, we got washed out, but we were in a bad spot then too. And then we lost to Pakistan in the quarterfinal, obviously. But we didn't beat a test playing nation when we went over, and we had all these great players in the team already. So it just showed how young it was experience wise in terms of play of spin on turning wickets. It was for the kids that were away.
Yeah, and in the game against Pakistan, you played against Ahmed Shahzad, and you said he's very, very good at his lip service.
Yeah, we played. Well, again, like I said, I played against him. We went away to Pakistan, but we played 5 one-days against him, and he was a gun. He was that good. But and I think he knew he was that good too, and he just he was sledging bowlers when he was batting out there. But that was the Australian team was like that too. They were pretty aggressive and really enjoyed a sledge and got into players. And most of the Pakistani players, took a step back. They were a bit like, wow, I've never experienced this before. But Ahmed was the only one that actually was like, nah, I'm going to give it back to these guys. And he did. And that's how he played as well. When he played the World Cup, he smacked us around everywhere and sprayed the bowlers too.
Well, was that the first time you went back to Pakistan after, since being born?
It's the only time I've been there. I've never been there. My parents, came with us as well. And unfortunately, it was a few months before the Australians were supposed to go over there and play. And they used us as a guinea pigs, I guess, on how good security was. And it was literally what they told us. So the security and stuff was really tight and it was really good. There was security guards outside your hotel room sort of thing, make sure that people weren't going in and stuff. So we weren't allowed out of the hotel, so I wasn't even able to go and see where mum and dad grew up and where they lived and stuff. But it's the only time I've been there, and even mum and dad felt like they don't really want to go back, to be fair. So I don't think we'll go back.
But during the World Cup, I was obviously going through your figures and so on. But you were the kind of bowler that bowled your 10 overs, and like I mentioned before, and you would get your 2-3 wickets. It would never be a bag full, but the number of wickets and the number of maiden overs you'd bowl is sort of be in line. It's like 3 maidens, 3 wickets, 4 maidens, 3 wickets. So you looked like that kind of bowler that would put the ball on the spot and keep it tight from one end. Was that your role during? I mean, you can probably think of it as your entire career, but coming towards the T20 cricket, it sort of evolved a little bit. We'll get to that. But growing up, that was your role, to keep it tight from one end. And if you were lucky to get a wicket, that's great.
Yeah, like I said, when I played under 15s state stuff, it was my first time. I was really young at bowling spin. I hadn't been bowling spin for very long, so I didn't really know what my role in the team was. And then my coach, when I went away to the state team, he just said, I want you to try to bowl 10 overs for 20 runs. If you do that, you're going to get 1 or 2 wickets. And I said, yep, perfect. And I took that mentality throughout my whole junior career. And then when I went to the World Cup, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to bowl 10 overs for 20 runs. And I'll hopefully get 1 or 2 wickets on the way. And I did. And I think at the end of the World Cup, I think I bowled just as many overs as everyone else. And I think I went for 2.9 or 3 runs and over or something like that. And that's where I sort of looked at myself. I looked at the economy rate more than anything, because I felt like I was there to help the bowlers from the other end. And I went into the World Cup being like the third spinner in the team, and then ended up being, I think, the number 1 spinner. Steve Smith and I think another guy called Burns, Daniel Burns, was the other 2 spinners. And then I think the way I bowled was a little bit faster, and that suited the wickets over there, I think. So that's sort of how and why I was a bit more successful over there.
Yeah. No, and you did really well. And I don't know if you remember, but you picked up the likes of Dinesh Chandimal against Sri Lanka. You picked up Ahmed Shahzad against Pakistan, even though you guys lost. So, you picked up some big names. So, Clive, you came back from the Under-19 World Cup, and between the ages of 19 to 22, you were playing a lot of club cricket, Victoria second 11, and and Baby Bash T20. So maybe you can explain to the to the viewers what that Baby Bash T20 piece is. But to top everything off, you actually won the Jack Ryder Medal during that period, which is the best and fairest Victorian player from a premier grade cricket standpoint. So it's such a high honor, and you picked up 41 wickets and scored 440 runs. So yeah, just talk us through that period between 19 to 22 where you were sort of becoming a force to sort of reckon with.
Yeah, I think that was around the time that Damien Wright, Mark Ridgway, Jade Herrick as well came on to play at Casey with me, South Melbourne, and really made the club really competitive. And it hadn't been really competitive for a few years before that. And then I learned a lot on how to win games of cricket and what my role was in the team. And then, I got to about 21, I think 21, I reckon it was, and I was like, all right. I was working part-time at a shoe place. And, I sort of told my parents, I was like, all right, I'm going to give myself one more year to try to make it. And if I don't, then I'm going to have to go to uni, or I'm going to have to do something, work full-time or something like that. And they were really good. They were really supportive. They said, yep, that's no worries. And luckily enough, that was the year that I went really well, and I won the Ryder Medal. And it wasn't something that I was thinking about winning. I never really thought I was going to win it. I felt like I had a good year, and we made the finals for the first time in years and years of playing at Casey South Melbourne. And I went to the awards ceremony, and then I wasn't really paying attention to the Ryder Medal vote count, to be fair. And then the last round, I saw my name was second on the list. So I was like, wow, that's pretty good. I think I had a pretty good game the last one. I couldn't really remember. And then, they called out my name. They said, I won it. And it was a pretty amazing experience. And I'm really honoured to win a medal like that. It was awesome.
And during the same time period, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably the same year in 2012, you won the Ross Gregory Medal for the fairest and best player for Victoria from an indoor cricketing standpoint as well. So it's basically when it rains, like when it rains, it absolutely pours.
Yeah, I think looking back now, I think that was some of the years that I was just, I guess, the happiest in terms of my life outside of cricket. I was enjoying working part-time. I was enjoying going out with my mates and partying, first time sort of doing it as a 19, 20-year-old. So I was really happy. I played indoor cricket and then had a really good year of indoor cricket, won that medal, and then played outdoor cricket straight after that and won the Ryder Medal. So I felt like I was probably in a good space in terms of cricket-wise. I was just happy to be playing and really enjoying playing the game.
Yeah. Awesome. And Clive, and for the viewers, Clive comes from a reasonably big family, big support he's got from his family as well. So I'm very thankful to one of your family members, and I'm not going to take any names here, but she's come and she's basically said that when you made your debut for Victoria, there was not much of a crowd at the MCG, but the amount of family members that were there and the noise that we're making were equivalent to an 80,000 that's being present at the G. So do you remember that moment?
Oh, absolutely. It was my first one-day game for Victoria, and it was their last game of the season. They missed out on finals, so they played a few of the young blokes, just to give them a go and see how they went. And me and Andrew Feckerty debuted that game. And yeah, I remember going out to bat. I didn't take a wicket that game. I felt like I was the best I've ever bowled, I reckon. Bowled really well and didn't take a wicket, unfortunately. But I went out to bat and the game was basically all but over. And I nicked my first ball for one down to third man, and the crowd erupted. It was so loud. I remember Nathan Lyon. I was on about 4 or 5, and every time I made a run, they cheered like I hit a 6, to win the game. There's about 30 family members in the crowd, and I remember Nathan Lyon coming past me, and he's like, he was sledging me a bit. He was like, do they realise that you haven't hit one in front of square yet? and I was just like, I was too pumped up to actually care what he said, but I remember that sticking in my head, and then, I got, I was 26 or something, not out. Almost won, we could have won the game, me and Scott Boland in the end, the number 11, number 11. That was an amazing experience, and it's a pretty indicative of my family support that I've had over the years. They've always been there for me, and at that game, it was very funny. The boys still get into me at cricket now about that.
I was going to keep this question for the rapid fire, but since you've spoken about your family, who's the biggest supporter of you in the Rose family?
Without a doubt would have to be my dad. He still plays cricket to this day. He's 50 odd years old, and he plays indoor cricket during the week and plays outdoor on the weekends. He loves it. And when I was playing in Victoria, he sort of stopped playing cricket altogether. Even knowing how much he loved it, he stopped playing just to watch me on the weekends, to come and watch my games. And then when I moved to Tassie, he sort of started playing cricket again, and he's still playing now. So yeah, it'd have to be my dad. Everywhere I go, if I went to Adelaide and played, they'd find a way to drive up to Adelaide to watch me play.
Oh, it's a good drive as well through the Great Ocean Road. So I don't think it's much of a struggle over there. And Clive, so now this is exciting. So you get picked for the Melbourne Stars second season of the BBL in 2012, and you replace Shane Warne in the squad. So talk us through that.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough. I played that one-day game in the last game of the season, and then got a call to be on the list of the Melbourne Stars. And then I think it was around Christmas time. Warney wanted to go back to England to having Christmas with Liz Hurley, and that I think who he was going out with at the time. So he went to England, and he missed. I think he was going to miss one game. So they needed a spinner, and I ended up playing, which was awesome, and it was a great experience at Adelaide Oval. I'll never forget it. How loud the crowd was. It was the first time playing in front of such a big crowd, and it was just an amazing experience. It wasn't not even as big as it was the Adelaide Overs now, with all the construction that was going on at the time. But it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, no. I've been to the Adelaide Oval just to watch as an audience as well, and they say it's such an intimate ground because it's small, and it's like the Chelsea football stadium where you're just like everyone's at you, and it can get really loud. So again, debut game against Adelaide Strikers, and so obviously talk me through that feeling of being in front of 40,000 odd people. But I understand your first game as well. Just looking through, and you got to talk me through this, but. Your first game, and you get thrown the ball during the death situation in your debut game for Melbourne Stars. Talk me through that.
Yeah, so I think I bowled 2 overs in the power play, and I think I bowled a couple of really good overs in there. I think it went for 6 or 7 runs each over. So I felt I was flying. I thought this game's easy. It's going all right.
Yeah.
And then the last over, and then about 2 overs before the 20th over, I didn't think I was going to bowl again. I was done for the day. So I was just happy felt like we were going to win the game. So I was just happy taking in the experience of the game. And Cam White came over and he's like, "You're bowling the last over." And I was like, okay. Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to do it. And yeah, we got to the top of my mark. And he's just like, I think I was defending 22 runs or something like that for the over. And I was bowling to Kyron Pollard.
And that's not an easy win. That's not like an easily win game. I mean, 23, last over, spinner bowling to Kyron Pollard, debut game. Set the context. Oh.
Yeah, so I think he was going to give the ball to David Hussey. Dave Hussey actually took the ball and took his hat off and gave it to the umpire. And Cam White came over and he's like, "No, Clive's bowling it." And Huss was like, "Okay, no worries." And then just ran off and he said, "Good luck." And then ran off to his spot. And then I remember Cameron asking me what I was going to do, what the plan was, and I said I'm going to go wide hole, and I'm going to go at his heels. He goes, "Perfect, good luck, keep doing that." And I think what helped me was the fact that I played against Cameron White about a week before that, or 2 weeks before that, in a grade game, and I bowled the last over of the game to defend. I think it was like 10 runs or something like that, and we ended up winning with 1 or 2 runs to spare. So I think from him seeing me do that in a game, which he was at, I think he sort of had that confidence that, Clive's been doing it, and I had been doing it for my club team for a while. So he's like, "Yep, Clive can bowl it." So and I bowled the first 2 or 3 balls, and they went for 1 or 2 runs, and then he came up to me and he's like, "Look, you can't lose the game now. Just make sure you don't bowl a wide or no ball." And I had that in my mind before bowling the last 3 balls, was don't bowl a wide or no ball. So I literally lobbed him up, and he hit them so far. He was into the construction site, and I did not care. I was so happy that he couldn't win the game, and I think the last ball went for 6, and I celebrated like I took a wicket.
Yeah, but would you do anything differently now if you were faced in the same? I'm asking this on behalf of probably the youngsters, where you're facing you have a big hitter in front of you, 23 to go. You had three successful balls. What do you do in the last three balls then?
And yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. The question of would I do something different has been yes. I definitely would have done something different. I would have backed my skills like I did in the first three balls, and I would have gone, let's close this over out and let's make sure it goes for under 6 runs or whatever it was, or under 10 runs, and really finish the game off. I think that's that sort of, I guess, mentality on cricket. I never really had in outdoor cricket until, a few years ago. I was always happy to be playing and really grateful to be picked, but never really had that mentality of walking out there on the field and dominating the game. It was always, I'm going to do what I need to do for the team. Not I'm going to win this game for my team, which I had in grade cricket, but just never when I went up. Always just played my role, sort of thing. But so yeah, I definitely would have done something different. I definitely would have gone out there and actually finished off that over and showed people that I could actually finish off games.
Yep. No, great point. And to be honest, with T20 cricket as well, net run rate comes into play as well. So you never know, I mean, at any point in time, maybe those three balls, if we went for 3 sixes at the end, how does it impact the net run rate? So yeah. But look, I have to ask you, Clive, Melbourne Stars, you were there with them for 3 years, and you used to idolize Shane Warne. So for the youngsters that's just watching this or going to watch this, Clive idolized Shane Warne. Now flip a few years ago or later, and he's in the same dressing room as Shane Warne, and you're basically facing Shane Warne in the nets. You're facing him in the practice game. Talk us through, what was that moment like?
There's actually, I've got a photo, and I'll share it with you at the end of this. There's a photo of me when I reckon I would have been 8 or 9 years old, next to Shane Warne after he'd played a game for Victoria. And there's a photo of me like getting a photo and getting something signed by him. And then, fast forward all those years, and now I'm sitting in a dressing room with him. Was quite surreal for me. Like anyone, like all the kids, my age, growing up through that time of Warnie's era, like everyone idolized him. Everyone wanted to be like him, and he took the game. He was such a good player and a character as well. So it was an amazing experience, and I've been really lucky over the years to share the dressing room with some legends of the game, but also meet some really good people as well.
Yeah, but you so who got the better of each other when you used to play in the practice games?
I played a couple of practice games, and he played on one team, I played on the other, and me and Jimmy Faulkner faced 2 or 3 overs of him, and I think Jimmy smacked him everywhere. I got a couple of boundaries off him, but I'll say that I got a couple of. I'd say I got the better of him, but keep in mind it was probably at the end of his career when he was, older and didn't have the fire that he used to.
Well, knowing how he is, and when he was the captain of the squad, he probably did that to help you with your confidence as well. So you never know.
Yeah, he probably did. He probably did.
Yeah, and this is this is another piece of exciting news that I received, which is so in the 3 years that you played for the Melbourne Stars, you were the personal chauffeur for a West Indian great. Talk us through that.
Yeah. So like I was lucky, I moved to Tassie at the time, and then all the interstate players that come down and to represent the Big Bash teams, they all stay at a hotel together. And Viv was obviously with the Stars at the time, so I stayed at the hotel. And with Viv and a few other players that were there, and Viv never drove anywhere. So when I was going to training, he's always messaging me and saying, what time we're leaving. I said, yeah, this time. And then he'd be next to the car, and I'd drive him to the car and drive him back. Drive him to training and drive him back, or drive him to the game and drive him back. So it was amazing. Looking back now, it's completely bizarre that I didn't really think that was a big thing until my uncle, who idolizes Viv, was like, "Man, that is amazing." I don't know how many people would kill to have experienced that, and I took it for granted, I guess.
Yeah. And folks, Clive's talking about Viv Richards here, Sir Viv Richards. So yeah, just unreal. That's crazy. And Clive, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have asked you this, over the years as well. Coming from a subcontinent sort of origin, to go and make a name for yourself in one of the hardest cricketing societies, in the world. you would have needed a lot of ticker and resilience throughout that entire sort of under-level journey, even at the BBL as well. So just, yeah, talk us through, was there a moment in time that you felt like, you know what, I need to actually prove myself in this place, or was it just normal all throughout?
Oh no, absolutely. I think ever since making that under 15s, state team, I think from then on it was just like I've got to prove myself um, to the next level. I was lucky enough that I played a year under what I was playing. So when I played on 17s, I was playing as a 16-year-old sort of thing. And I had to prove, I felt like I had to always prove to my teammates that I deserved to be there in the team, or I deserved to be a part of it. And that's how I sort of played my cricket the whole way. Like tried to prove to people that I was good enough to play.
Yeah.
So I never really had that confidence, to be fair, though. Like never had that confidence that I belonged in first class cricket. Like in grade cricket, I felt like I've done it before. So I have that confidence, but just when I ever played first class cricket and stuff, it never really was there.
Yeah, because the reason I asked that question is because you obviously played a lot of cricket in Victoria growing up, and a lot of superstars from Victoria have obviously gone on to play 1, 2, or even 3 formats of the game. So, but what has stopped you from, or what were some of the challenges that you faced from taking your cricket to the next level?
It's probably more me, to be honest with you, my mental and the way I looked at the game and saw myself in the game. I think it was, looking back now, not having that confidence to try things or do things that I felt like I needed to do. Like I always sought advice from coaches and other people, which you should do, I think, as a youngster and as a player, but also making sure that you're true to yourself in terms of what you think you do best, and sticking with that and improving that, but also taking on some other bows that other people are asking you to improve too. I think I went too far in the way of, I guess, trusting the other people around me that I should be doing that because they think that's better. But at the end of the day, it's your career. I've learned, and a coach might tell you to do one thing, but if that doesn't work for you, no one takes responsibility. It's not their responsibility. It's yours because it's your game. It's your career.
Yep. And so you played one first class game for Victoria, and this is the state that you were born and raised in, and then you moved to Tasmania. So why that move? Like just after one first class game?
Yeah, so like I was really lucky that I got the opportunity to go over to Tassie and visit. They flew me over and showed me around, and I was like, this is amazing. Like I can't believe I'm about to be on a contract to play cricket for a living. And then I rang Greg Shippard at the time, who was the coach, and I said, look, they've offered me a contract over there in Tassie. I don't really want to go. I love playing the last few years. But I got to live. I need some money, obviously, and I want to do it full time. And he was really good. He was really supportive. He said, look, we'd love to keep you. We want to keep you, and unfortunately, we can't put you on our list. We don't have space for another spinner. We've got John Holland and a couple other guys. But if you stay, you might get upgraded again, like you did last year, and play enough games. And I said, look, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. I got to take some security, and that's what I did. And I came down to Tassie, and I think that was the best move for me. And it still is. I wouldn't take that back at all. I really enjoyed my time down here.
And we're talking about you feeling good. So you move to Tassie, you get picked into the Prime Minister's 11 squad to play against England, which is just an amazing feeling, to be picked in that squad with superstars. But I want to talk about a one-day game, which is probably not as prominent. People can Google the Prime Minister 11 game, but there was a game that you played in the one-day setup against Queensland where you hit a 26, and it goes to show that you're a batsman as well. You hit a 26 of 9 to win the game for Tassie, and you hit Ryan Harris for a 6 of the last, not the last ball, but you hit Ryan Harris for 6 to win the game. So talk us through that game.
It was pretty amazing. That was probably the game that actually made me feel confident around the group that I was playing with. I think that was the game that made me feel valued, and I felt like I could make a real impact on the Tasmanian team at that time. I went out to bat, and the game was all but over. I think I went out and I think I hit 4 4s in an over from Ryan Harris, 4 in a row, and then I think we needed. What we need, probably needed 15 runs, or probably for 15 runs off 2 overs, and Sam Rainbird for that the other end. He hit a 4. We got a few more runs, and then in the last over we needed 6 runs. And the first ball he had mid on, mid off up, and I was like, he's going to bump me. He's not going to be full. So I set up for the short one and cut it over point for 6, and that was it. And it was probably one of the most amazing games of cricket that I've been able to win, I guess, at the end.
Awesome. Wow. And Clive, you've been with Hobart Hurricane now for 5 years, and when you this is more a funny question, which is funny. You can take it whichever way you want. But when you first started your stint with Hobart Hurricanes, you had this very nice haircut, where it was like a well-groomed boy, and then from there you transitioned into a man bun, and then lately you've had the lawn mower on the side. You've already made friends with some from African people who've helped you with the cornrows. So I love your hairdo, don't get me wrong, but what's going on there?
So it's actually something that I've wanted to do like for a really long time. Like I wanted to have really long hair. I wanted to have long hair and try to bun it up like that, but never really had the confidence to. I was scared of what people thought. And then one day I was just like, no, you know what? I'm just going to grow my hair out. I can't be bothered. So I started growing my hair out and got the man bun. And then I've always wanted cornrows. And that was why I started growing my hair out. So I got cornrows and I was like, I actually really like the look of these on me. And then I got back. Well, that was at Christmas time. My little cousin did it for me. She's a hairdresser. And she did it for me. And I was like really happy with how they looked. And then I got back to the Hurricanes and Jofra Archer had just got his cornrows done. So I was like, I can't walk out there. People are going to think I copied him.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with another lady here in Tassie, and Eris, who's a legend. So I go over to her, and I got some box braids done, and I'm really happy with them. So I actually really like the hairstyle. I feel like I like the look of it on me.
Yeah.
As I get older, I'm caring less about what people think about the way I look. So
yeah,
that was my way of breaking free and doing something that I thought was cool and not caring about what other people thought.
It looks amazing. I'll just say that. I thought it's fantastic. But Clive, I really am asking this on behalf of a lot of people who've been put into this situation, and it's super inspiring and super special, I think, which is, throughout your T20 career, you've been bowling in the power play and literally the first 5 or 6 overs. And you're not the kind of bowler, who spins it a mile. You're the kind of bowler that puts it in its place. So using the new ball in the power play, in the BBL, you've got wickets like Aaron Finch, Moses Henriques, Jos Buttler, Jordan Silk, Michael Klinger, Joe Root, Callum Ferguson. Geez, the names keep going. But this is my question, which is, how do you, what is the key to success for someone who doesn't spin the ball too much, puts it in its place with a new ball? How did you back yourself to get those wickets?
For me, it wasn't about wickets, and I think that's what. And when I bowled poorly, that's why I reckon I bowled poorly, because I'm thinking wickets. I'm trying to take a wicket. Where mine's more about the process and trying to, how do I build pressure? How do I build pressure to get that wicket? Because in T20 cricket, it's not about like you're rarely going to, as a fast bowler, you're not going to bowl a big outswinger to nick a player off, or a big in swinger. You're not going to, get big movements off the wicket in T20 cricket. So you're going to have to build pressure to take your wickets and get a bad shot out of players. And that's what I think. That's my process. Trying to build pressure, trying to make a batter play a bad shot or miss-hit a shot that they're trying to play. And I think what doing better now when I'm a bit older is I'm doing a lot more research. I'm trying to understand a bit more where batters are trying to hit me, or what batters like to hit spin, where they score, when they're under pressure, what shots they play when they're under pressure. Because when you're out there in the field, you sort of get those gut instincts that like, all right, he hasn't played a sweep shot yet. I think he's going to try to sweep me here. And you get those gut feelings. But when you're doing that research beforehand and you've seen these players play a bit more, those gut instincts, you learn to trust them a bit more, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I do a bit better. Just do a bit more research.
Awesome. Wow. Okay, so we've spoken a lot about your outdoor cricket here now, Clive, and I know you're very passionate about your indoor cricket. So maybe a couple of questions on your indoor cricketing journey. Um, I re- let's start off with a fun question. Actually, I received a message just right now from one of your mates to say, Clive, how can you be the only paid professional that does not get picked into a state squad?
I'm guessing they're asking why I don't try out. Is that what they're saying? Yeah. So like I'm really lucky to be completely honest with you. Like I live in Tassie now, and Ross, I love playing indoor cricket for Victoria. And Ross asked me every year if I'm available to play, and I said yes. Put me down. Put me down. I'm really keen to play. And I know don't turn up to trials or anything like that. I don't even go to any of the training sessions. But what I do is I make sure that I do all the training sessions here. I play indoor cricket here on a Wednesday night, and I make sure I have an extra hit and a training session myself down here somewhere. So. But yeah, the boys get into me because I never come to any of their training sessions, or I never tried out for any of the teams. So, but I'm really grateful that Ross is still able to pick me, and the boys are still happy to have me.
Yep. And what fascinates me though is you don't bowl spin in indoor cricket. You bowl left arm, left arm pace coming in. So why is that?
I think I've always wanted to be a fast bowler. When I was younger, and I think in indoor cricket, through my indoor cricket, I've been able to bowl pretty fast, faster than I used to in outdoor cricket. So I felt like I could bowl bounces and stuff like that. So that's why I started doing it. And then I realised I tried to bowl spin in indoor cricket, and I felt like the way I bowled my spin, I got a bit more too much bounce almost, and I bowled an outdoor length, and it was easy to play. But it is something that I'm actually working on. I really want to be able to do both, so I can bowl one over a pace and one over a spin in indoor cricket, depending on who I'm bowling to and what the team needs. So I'm working on it, but I really enjoy bowling pace, that's probably the short answer, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that also alludes to the fact that growing up, Wasim Akram was also one of your idols as well. So you've said that somewhere in another interview.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I actually interviewed Matt Flores yesterday, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but in 2013, you got picked for a tour to go to Sri Lanka, and Matt Flores had been working his backside off to get picked on this tour, and he was absolutely gutted when he didn't make the squad. You pulled out, and he got the call to then make his debut. So not sure if you're aware of that.
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, and so he's crediting all his career, all his success in his career so far to you, by the way. But you also got picked into the 2014 World Cup for Australia, which you didn't go.
Yeah, I was, I still to this day, I wish I went, but unfortunately I had outdoor commitments at the time, and I remember I never really wanted to put my name down. Because you gotta nominate yourself if you want to get picked, and I didn't want to put my name down, and because I wasn't sure whether I'd be able to go because of outdoor cricket. And Ross was like, just put your name down because you don't really know, so put your name down. You'll see if you get picked, and if you do get picked, we'll have a chat after that, and we can talk to the state coaches and outdoor state coaches and see what we can do there, because it was I think it was September, October, the World Cup was. And yeah, so I didn't really want to put my name down, but then Ross sort of convinced me to do it early in the week, so I did, and then ended up getting picked, which was amazing. I was really grateful for it, and I really want to be able to represent Australia in indoor cricket at some stage. Or get the chance to do it, I guess. So yeah, it was awesome. And I think Jack Craig, who's an indoor cricket teammate for Victoria, I think he's got my World Cup shirt still somewhere in his he said he's not giving it back. So, but yeah, I don't think I can take credit for the Matt Flores starting. I think he was an amazing player before all that. And the reason why I didn't want to put my name down was because of that. I didn't want to, stop someone that was definitely going to play to be able to walk up there on stage and take and get that, I guess, that shirt on those days. So
yeah. And Clive, last question from my end is where to from here for you in terms of you're now playing first class cricket, Tassie, playing one day cricket, T20 as well, but you're also a certified coach as well. So what are you aspiring to from here?
Yeah, I guess you know, I'm 30 years old. I feel like I've got 5 more years. I can still play, but you know, unfortunately, you know, it seems like I'm going to do it the hard way. So I might play some games next year. I might not. I'm not sure yet. I'm still going to train. I'm still going to do my best to play. You know, I'm not one of those guys that's going to, you know, retire because they're not going to get picked. I'm going to stop playing because they told me they stop. I can't play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing some coaching the last few years, and I'm working full time now at Cricket Tasmania as a coaching talent specialist. So got my level 3 this year as well. So coaching level 3. So yeah, I want to get into coaching, and I've had some really good conversations with Ross Gregory when we were going away to some indoor tournaments about coaching. He's very old school, and I'm trying to bring the new school into the coaching, and yeah, we've had some good arguments, but you know, I really enjoy those conversations about coaching and that side of the game now.
Awesome. Excellent. Good. And now, Clive, I'm going to get into some rapid fire questions with you. So yeah, let's see how you go. I've asked you the biggest supporter, and you've told me that your dad is, which is amazing. If not a cricketer, what would you have ended up being?
Honestly, I've only known cricket my whole life. Like, that's all I've known. So if I didn't make it playing, if I didn't make enough money playing cricket, like I probably would have had to move into coaching really, and doing my own coaching stuff. I would have run my own coaching academies and stuff, and try to do it that way. But I would have been in cricket, involved somewhere in sport or cricket.
Yep. A household activity that you're good at. Now that you've moved to Tassie, you're living by yourself.
I really enjoy cooking, actually. It's something that I enjoy doing. I feel like I'm good at it. I enjoy my own cooking, so yeah.
What's the best dish that you make?
I make a good vegetarian lasagna. My girlfriend's vegetarian, so I make a lot of vegetarian dishes. Lasagna, I think.
Nice. Someone you text the most?
Oh, I'm actually really bad at texting people back, and so it's probably I'll probably have to say my sister or my cousin Brendan.
Okay. Let's talk about your outdoor cricket now. Man kidding in outdoor cricket, yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
If the batter is leaving the crease before the ball's been delivered, you're cheating. So I think I'm all for the man cat. I don't know if I've got the balls to do it yet, but I'm all for it.
Your most prized wicket?
Oh, I'm going to say Andrew Simons. A lot of people, like I said, the Baby Bash that we played, that was like a second 11 T20 competition through this against the States, and Andrew Simons played, and he hit me for 6, I think, one ball, and the next one I got him out. So I'll take that one. I like that one in my pocket.
Was that a one-handed catch by the field at long off in the boundary, just about to go for 6?
No, I just deceived him, bowled him.
Nice.
He was trying to hit this one further, I think.
The one person you'd like to meet?
Will Smith. Not on a cricket sense, but Will Smith, I'd love to meet him. He seems like such a guy that's got really good, lot of knowledge about life in general. I follow him in all social media and stuff, and some of the stuff that he talks about, resonates really well with me. So that's something that I'd love to meet.
Awesome. I'm sure you would have met with Ricky Ponting in Tassie. So, one word to describe him.
I don't think I ever met him in Tassie. He doesn't live in Tasmania anymore. I think he lives in Melbourne or Sydney or something like that. But I've come across him a bit and had a few conversations with him. And one thing I would say is a genuine person. He's a genuine guy. Like, what you see is what you get with him. And I think he doesn't, whatever situation he's in or whoever he's talking to, he talks to everyone the same. And I really like that about him. And he's just a genuine person. You feel like he really cares about you when he talks to you.
Yeah. The first advice you would give a spinner?
First, I think number one, spin the ball as hard as you can. Get as many revs on the ball as you can. You can always straighten up and get your accuracy right. But if you spin the ball as hard as you can, I think that's the main thing.
The coach that has had the biggest impact on you?
It's a really hard question, Saz, because I've had so many really good coaches throughout the year that I've pulled little things from here and there. But I think in terms of getting me where I'm at the moment, it'd probably be like Damien Wright. I reckon when I was playing with him at KC South Melbourne, he taught me a couple of things about the game that I really resonated with, and I've taken throughout my whole career.
Yeah.
So Damien Wright, need to be him.
Quickest bowler you've ever faced?
Mitchell Johnson was very scary. I faced him in a one-day game, and I faced one ball, and it was he bounced me, and it was his last ball to spell. And I looked at square leg and was like, "Don't you dare call that wide." I think square leg sort of knew, and he didn't call it wide. And then at the end of the over, I went down and spoke to the umpire. I was like, "Thank you, thank you for that." And he sort of nodded. He knew that he knew what was going on. So, yeah, Mitchell Johnson, definitely.
The best catch you've ever taken?
Best catch. Probably I took one in a shield game against Victoria. Cameron White was off Andrew Feckley, I reckon, bowled it. I was at square leg and I dove full strength to my right and took it just inches off the ground. So I'd say that was the best catch I've ever taken.
Awesome. The best batting partnership you've had, because I've been looking at a few games, and you've actually batted with George Bailey as well, with Tassie. So yeah, so what's the best batting partnership you've had?
So like in first class cricket, you're talking, or like
any something that if I asked you best batting, but it could be a shield game or a one-day game.
I'd say it's really hard. I think the best batting partnership come into mind would probably be the one. It's probably a second living game I had with Gurinder Sandhu. Batted, I think I got 100 and he got 90 odd playing against New South Wales a couple of years ago. That was probably the one I enjoyed the most. It was just we had just good chemistry when we're batting together. We don't take things too seriously, and we're having a laugh between balls and overs, but we're still when it's time to switch on, it's time to switch on, and it was really good. The balance is there, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and it was a good right hand, left hand batting partnership as well. So yeah there you go.
Probably, yeah.
Now I've been obviously watching a few of your videos in terms of you batting. You hit Pat Cummins for 6 in a game against the Sydney Sixers off a Yorker, and that has to be one of the best shots you've ever played. Yes or no?
I think if I'm looking back, I haven't really thought about that question before, but yeah, I reckon that's probably the best shot I've played. I can still feel the moment the ball hit the middle of the bat, and I actually didn't see where the ball went. I was just like watching the ball onto the bat that hard because I was that scared. I looked up and it was someone in the crowd was diving back trying to catch it, or jumping up in the air trying to catch it, and had a look online after the game, and went like 90 meters, I think it was. So that was probably definitely the best shot.
That was an unbelievable hit. All right, let's cover some indoor questions now. Best batting partner in indoor cricket?
Easy. My cousin Brendan. He's an gun indoor cricketer. Just didn't have the love of the game that I have. He's a lot better than I am in indoor cricket, and me and him batting together have done it since we were 15 years old playing indoor cricket. He's definitely my best batting partner.
Quickest bowler you faced?
Oh, Benji Flores, without a doubt.
Yeah, the best fielder?
Hard to go past Fitzy, who you interviewed a few days earlier. Him and Lance McDougall, probably the two that I think I've seen that I think are amazing.
Yeah. If you had to take a hat-trick in indoor cricket, which 3 batsmen would you choose? And let's just choose 3 different batsmen here rather than, the one after the other.
Oh, okay. That's a hard one. Have to be Reece Dearness would be one, because I just hate bowling to him. He makes me every time I bowl to him, and he's a gun. So we Reece Dearness. Vinesh Bennett, probably the second one. Just is such a good player, but he just finds really a good way of getting under players' skins, your teammates' skins. When I used to play against him, so he's my one that I'd love to have one in my pocket. And yeah, Juddy. I reckon Juddy. Justin Perkins would probably be the other one. Even though he's on my team, I'd love to get him in, get him out in. He does give it to me when I played against him in Victoria, so I'd definitely love to give it back to him.
Yeah, and look, he's the one who actually gave me the question on the paid professional not making the state team piece. Awesome. Who's the best wicket keeper in Indo cricket according to you?
Best wicket keeper. I play with a guy called Boyd. He played a bit for Australia, played for Victoria, but I played with him at the end of his sort of career, indoor cricket career, and he was really good. One of the cleanest glove men I've seen with the gloves in indoor cricket.
Yep. And your most memorable win?
In indoor, probably be the first time we won the Super League or Vic League in Victoria, Springvale. That was my first year playing. They split Springvale up into two teams, so they made us have two first grade teams because we were so strong. And they sort of had the A team, which was all the old blokes that had all been playing for Victoria and Australia in the past, and then there was this young blokes who was Owen Gould was the captain. And I've got to credit him to everything I know about indoor cricket and all the basics I found. He was the one that taught me it, and I still to this day remember all the stuff that he's taught me. But he was the captain of our team, and we ended up winning the competition as known as the B team in Springvale Scorpions. So that was probably the most memorable win at that grand final.
Awesome. Look, Clive, this has been such an amazing chat, and like everyone has said, like, you cannot go wrong with Clive. The guy is just such a nice person, and he's such a good guy. And I'm sure everybody, who's watched this interview as well will completely agree, with your openness, your transparency, but at the same time, your personality as well. So thank you. First thing, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you doing this interview.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Shaz. And I think on behalf of the indoor cricket world, we appreciate everything you're doing for indoor cricket as well. Putting some indoor cricketers on the map is one way of putting the sport on a pedestal and getting some more people playing the game and being interested in the game. So thank you for all the work you've been doing.
Oh, my pleasure. Folks, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully, you guys had a great time listening to Clive. Do like and comment, and Clive will be happy to take any questions that you may have as well. So put it in the comment section, and yeah, we can go from there. And do like and share this video, and I will catch you next time. Thank you, and have a good day. See ya.